Hey there folks, the Scottsdale Travel Chicks sidekick here to present our ultimate guide to Los Cabos. Whether you're staying in San Jose del Cabo or Cabo San Lucas or anywhere in between, this video will give you everything you need to know about getting around, the top things to see and do, the best day trips, dining and nightlife ideas, secret pro tips, and more. Okay, let's go. First up, just a bit of background on Cabo. For much of its history, Cabo was a sleepy, remote fishing port which was accessed either by boat or a 3-hour drive from La Paz. But in 1977, the Mexican government built an international airport here, and the transformation of Sleepy Cabo into one of Mexico's most popular resort destinations began. Today, it's known the world over as one of the best sport fishing capitals in the world, as well as a top party hub in Mexico. But it's much more than that. Let's actually start with defining what Cabo is physically. Los Cabos, or Cabo, is located at the bottom of the Mexican state of Baja California Sur, and many people don't realize Cabo is actually 3 distinct areas. One is the smaller, mostly authentic Mexican town of San Jose del Cabo near the airport. San Jose has not been overdeveloped and still has an old Mexican charm to it, along with a nice little town square to explore. We'll talk more about this later in the video, but this is the original town first established by the Spanish in the early 1700s to protect the area from both pirates and the local natives. Cabo San Lucas is the other primary town here, and it has a much different feel to it. Cabo San Lucas is about 40 minutes southwest of the airport and at the end of the Los Cabos Peninsula. This town has been developed for tourism and is a party, fishing, and entertainment hub of the area. When most people think of Cabo, they tend to think of Cabo San Lucas. Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo is here, along with many other loud, flashy party destinations. And right next to all of this partying is one of Mexico's largest marinas with a multitude of fishing and water activities on tap. The third area of Los Cabos is the area in between these two towns, typically referred to as the Cabo Corridor. This is the area along a 22-mile coastal road which connects San Jose del Cabo and Cabo San Lucas, and it's lined with large oceanfront resorts and deluxe golf destinations. Each has a distinctly different feel, as you'll see as we move through the video. How to get there and how to get around. First up, there is one international airport for the area, and it's just north of the town of San Jose del Cabo. Almost all tourists arrive by way of this airport, assuming you're not on a cruise. If you are on a cruise, you'll arrive off the bay of Cabo San Lucas and use tenders to get into town. There will be no direct cruise port dock here. Getting around Cabo depends a lot on where you're staying between the 3 areas I just mentioned above. Getting to San Jose del Cabo near the airport is easy with a direct 10 to 15 minute taxi ride. Getting to Cabo San Lucas at the bottom of the Baja Sur Peninsula will take you about 45 minutes, and any of the resorts along the Cabo Corridor will take you just a little bit less. In terms of getting around once you arrive, there are many options. From cheapest to most expensive, they are the bus. The primary bus from the airport is called Ruta del Desierto, and they are distinctly purple and orange. These buses are modern and air-conditioned, with the longest ride from the airport to Cabo San Lucas being about 1 hour and 90 pesos, or less than $6. A shuttle or car service is the next cheapest option, and it might be better than the bus if you have a lot of luggage. A private van will cost around $120, while a shared van or shuttle will cost around $40 a person. Worst case, you can always ask your hotel to arrange one for you. but expect to pay a premium to do this. Booking taxis at the airport on arrival is best avoided, as there's a reasonable chance you'll get ripped off somewhere along the way. If you still want to do it, however, expect to pay about $80 to Cabo San Lucas. Taxis are readily available but are not metered. Rates must be negotiated, so you should negotiate before you get in the taxi. What about Uber? Well, it's offered here, but it's tricky. Number one, technically Uber is illegal in Cabo, but the app works and people use it. However, Uber cannot pick you up at the airport, car availability is sometimes spotty, and there's quite some animosity between the local taxi union and Uber drivers. So, often you're required to meet the car on a street rather than at a resort entrance or a busy location. So, it's not the easiest to actually utilize. Finally, if you plan to do a lot of driving around or touring on your own, you can always rent a car. We tend to rent a car when we visit Cabo, but if you intend to just chill at the beach and take a couple of tours, it's perfectly reasonable to get by without renting a car. And pro tip, if you do rent a car, realize that the rates often seem cheap, but remember third-party liability insurance is never included and it's extra and you pay when you arrive. Typically, that's another $30 to $40 a day on top of whatever rate you think you've booked. When to visit? Cabo is essentially a tropical desert and basically a year-round destination. There is a short rainy season from mid-July to September, but other than that, the city has sunny weather for most of the year. It does get hot during the summer months, so actually your best bang for the buck will be these hot summer months from July through September. But if you want the best weather, the ideal seasons are really the shoulder seasons, from April to May and October to November. Where to stay? I'll make this section short, as I've already talked about the three main areas of Cabo: San Jose del Cabo, Cabo Corridor, and Cabo San Lucas. If you want to be in the thick of the party scene, then stay in Cabo San Lucas. If you're looking for large, deluxe, all-inclusive or beachfront resorts, then aim for the Cabo Corridor. But note, you'll have to taxi, Uber, or drive to any reasonable off-resort nightlife and dining options. Finally, if you want the most authentic Mexican experience in a small boutique-type hotel, then stay in the San Jose del Cabo town area nearest the airport. Top things to see and do. Finally, let's get to all those top things to see and do in and around Cabo. There's a lot, so I'll move quickly and start with the area of Cabo San Lucas at the tip of the peninsula. As I've mentioned already, Cabo San Lucas is known for world-class fishing and world-class partying. The fishing harbor here is one of the largest in all of Mexico and it's world-renowned. And exploring the town of Cabo San Lucas, the harbor is a good place to start. Virtually all sport fishing choices leave from this harbor, and marlin, dorado, sailfish, and tuna are all big-time catch here. You can hire anything from locals with ponga boats to 60-foot luxury sport fishing yachts for larger groups. Prices for a day of fishing start around $200 for a 5-hour ponga outing to $500 for 8-hour trips on 25 to 30 footers, and thousands of dollars per day for boats up to 60 feet in size. Check out our links below the video for some of our top booking recommendations. In addition to the fishing, there are lots of dining and drinking options that surround the harbor, and it's a nice walk of almost 2 miles one way to explore it all. In the process, you'll see some great boats, but you'll also very likely see some pelicans and sea lions hanging around waiting for their next meal from a fishing boat. That's pretty cool. The next big attraction and the focal point of all of Cabo is Land's End, or the Arches. It's visible from the harbor or almost anywhere along the coast. It's the signature feature of Cabo, and it's a must for picture taking and exploring. Many boats will take you for a visit as part of their package, but also water taxis are a popular and cheap option. Aim to go at low tide so they can drop you off at Lover's Beach and you can explore it, and Divorce Beach, which is the other rougher side. Water taxis can be caught from either the boat harbor or Medano Beach a bit further east. If you're lucky, they'll even take you past some rock outcroppings frequented by sea lions. The out and back ride should cost you about $30 to $40 round trip. Hiking Mount Somar, which is part of Land's End and the Arches, is another awesome activity here, but few people know about it. So, consider this another one of our pro tips. It's a short hike that leaves twice a day, and it's steep but not very long. And you do it with dogs. You'll end up at the top with incredible views that few people visiting Cabo get to see. We really recommend this hike for anyone up for a bit of exercise and adventure. And if you want to learn more about all the details and how to do it, check out our Mount Somar hike video, which is dedicated just to this hike. Next up, in terms of sights around Cabo San Lucas, is Medano Beach. This beach is just east of the harbor area. It's the beach closest to town, and it's the most popular beach in all of Cabo, with many bars and beachfront restaurants congregated here. Walk around and enjoy the sights in the day, and different sights once the sun goes down. But our little-known pro tip here is to also consider pampering yourself with a beachfront massage at the Sandbar Massage Deck. We have been to this place multiple times over the years, and it's been consistently good and affordable. We believe it's the best massage in Cabo, and it's only about $45 for a 90-minute massage, and the views come for free. Finally, working our way into the town itself. I'm going to be honest with you, there's really not much of note beyond the many tourist-centric dining and bar options, and more on those later. But the Church of San Lucas is one place that might be worth considering. It's an early Catholic church, almost 300 years old, and the very first by Spanish missionaries. It still retains much of its original features and provides a glimpse back to the early days of Christianity in Mexico. Spreading our wings now a bit beyond land, whale watching is another very big thing here. In season from January to early April, it's a top attraction. You can see whales up close and personal by way of many tours, or you can simply watch from afar at many elevated locations along the coast. In early March, they are particularly abundant, and humpback whales are the majority. As we move east along the coast, we now come to the Cabo Corridor area. The priority here is golfing and relaxing at some of the top resorts in all of Mexico. For golfing, one can choose from more than 16 golf courses in the area, with 4 being named among Golf Digest's top 100 in the world. But be warned though, tee times are not cheap, with most top courses starting at more than $150 per round. The beaches along the coast here are also a major draw. They are all beautiful and relatively secluded, and it's not unlikely to have some of them all to yourself. However, many are rough enough that you can't really swim here. But 3 beaches are reasonably calm enough for swimming and are also the top snorkel spots in Cabo. Many boat tours will take you to these beaches, but you can also reach them by yourself in a car or by Uber. But before we get to those beaches, just a quick shout out here that if you're enjoying this video, please give us a thumbs up, a comment too, or better yet, forward this to some of your friends. And please consider subscribing to our channel to receive more fun, informative travel videos just like this one. And finally, if you like all things Mexico, be sure to check out our other top-rated Mexico destination guides. I'll promise you'll enjoy every one of them. Okay, back to those top Cabo beaches. Chileno Beach is probably the most well-known, and it also tends to be jam-packed with locals, as the water is the most calm and great for families. You can snorkel from this beach here too, and there are usually some vendors renting out chairs and umbrellas if you need them. Palmilla Beach is another decent beach worth considering a bit further north. It's close to San Jose del Cabo, but was one of our favorites in the area. It's a bit rocky, but it's sheltered from the waves, making it calm enough to swim and snorkel here too. And the beach is partitioned into two halves, one for swimming and the other half for snorkeling. Finally, Santa Maria Beach is the third option. Here the sand is a bit more pebbly, which some people may not enjoy, but it's the least crowded of these three beaches, and it's a nice place to snorkel from the beach as well. Moving on, we now come to the other primary town in Los Cabos, San Jose del Cabo. This place clearly has a different, much more laid-back feel than the party town of Cabo San Lucas, and activities here are centered around the main square, Plaza Mijares. On the square is Mission San Jose del Cabo. It's another church built around 1730, and it's open to the public. It's still a working church, and you might just catch a wedding here if you're lucky. Also on the streets around this square, particularly to the west and the north sides, there are tons of dining and nightlife choices. I'll mention one or two in our nightlife section below, but it's simply worth taking a walk around and finding your own local quaint place for dinner or drinks. And on most nights, you should be able to find some local music around these streets too. And our pro tip here is that every night there's something going on, but if you can pick a night, come on Thursday when they have their popular art walk. All right, where are we at, babe?
So we are in San Jose del Cabo, which is different than Cabo
San Lucas.
San Lucas, thank you. Anyhow, and we're going to head down here. There's an art walk on Thursday nights, hopefully, so we're going to check it out and get a bite to eat.
Lots of locals displaying their works and also live music everywhere. It's a lot of fun. Another don't miss thing here to do, assuming you're here between December and February, is to visit the turtle sanctuary. You'll probably have to ask your hotel for insistence in booking this and figuring it out. But if you can, you get to work with volunteers and see how they monitor the turtle activities, transfer the eggs to a nursery for safe release during the season, and if you time it just right, you can participate in a baby turtle release. We got to do this and it was awesome.
Come on!
Here it comes. Here's this.
Oh!
Now go! Don't go backwards! Go! Swim!
Finally, another very popular thing to do here is to visit a local farm-to-table up in the hills outside of town. Flora Farms is the most popular, and it's got a cool and free little tour you can take, as well as some small shops, an old-fashioned ice cream stand, and a field kitchen with farm-to-table menu. Right next door is another place called Acre Resort. This one has a hotel made up of tree houses. Now, after all that, let's talk about a couple of day trips we'd recommend. I'll exclude all the typical touristy stuff like zip lines, ATV riding, things like that, and I'll focus on three choices unique to the Cabo area. First up, just get out on the water. I've already mentioned whale watching and sport fishing tours, and if those aren't your thing, then at least consider a sunset or snorkel cruise. Our top two recommendations are in our links below the video, and they are surprisingly affordable. Next up are 3 full-day tours, possibly worth your time. Todos Santos is about 1 hour north of San Lucas, and it's an eclectic, artsy town and one of Mexico's magic pueblos, as they call them. Wander around art galleries, craft studios, jewelry shops, scattered around among cute coffee bars and courtyard restaurants. Sometimes this place is quickly added onto a more popular tour to La Paz. La Paz is 2 hours north of Cabo, but it feels a world apart. The whole place still has a more authentic Mexico feel without tons of tourists or any big resorts, yet. We highly recommend this place, actually for at least a night or two, but you can do it for a day trip, and the biggest thing to do here is to swim with whale sharks and sea lions. We've done it a couple of times, and we highly recommend it. In addition, they have a really great Malecón area and multiple awesome beaches north of town. If you want to learn everything you need about visiting La Paz, then be sure to check out our ultimate guide to La Paz, Mexico. Finally, day tours to Cabo Polmo are another top choice, and snorkeling and scuba diving at the protected marine park here is the thing to do. You'll get to see fish, lobster, starfish, and possibly sea turtles too. Check out our link below for our recommended tour provider. The last section here for our ultimate guide is just a bit on dining and nightlife options. For those who follow us, you know that we like to eat local and try to avoid the trendy or touristy spots. But in Cabo, that's quite hard to do, at least in the Cabo San Lucas and Cabo corridor areas, as almost all places in these areas are tailored for tourists. If you don't care either way, then head first to the harbor area as we mentioned earlier. You'll have dozens of choices to choose from for dinner. It's definitely touristy, but it's also a good place to explore and have a bite to eat while you watch the people go by. If you really want to aim for a bit more local though, then head a few blocks in and look for Los Guacamayas and Gus Tacos. They aren't 100% local for sure, but they're definitely a step in the right direction with great food and more reasonable prices. Plus, the romantic entertainment at La Guacamayas is free. Gus Tacos is right next door, and this place is a locals place with, they say, the best tacos in town. And the rock bottom prices here are just the way we like it too. If you're hankering for some Italian in Mexico, then our only choice is Salvador G's. You won't regret it. It's a cool, somewhat hidden place with a great courtyard dining and stellar food. Getting back to some of the touristy places, you have the Office on Medano Beach. It's very popular, as well as La Lupita Tacos and Mezcal, another trendy upmarket outdoor taco place with live music after 7 just a few blocks up. There are hardly any local places along the Cabo corridor, but there is a very touristy one called Jazz on the Rocks. It's a great elevated place to watch sunset views, have some great food, and listen to live music. It's really popular, but it ain't cheap. Finally, in San Jose del Cabo town, there are tons of great choices. Again, we really recommend checking this town out and finding something on your own. But 3 of our favorites here are Jardin Secreto, with a cool interior garden dining approach, La Dolce Italian right on the main square, also with a nice courtyard dining area, and Los Tres Galos, place with great food, rooftop dining, and a little music here too. Okay, now that nightlife. Well, I am quite the partier myself and was ready to hit the town until the wee hours. The Scottsdale travel chick wasn't having it. So, what you get here are some videos of the main San Lucas areas around 9 p.m. when things are a lot less crowded than they would be later in the night. But to summarize up Cabo's party scene, there are 3 primary areas. First, at the harbor area I mentioned. There are a number of choices here, but all lean towards more mature adult nightlife, meaning no dance clubs and less drunk people. Next up on the gluttonous scale are the bars along Medano Beach. After dinner time, many of the dining options here turn into beach clubs with some great vibes. Mango Deck is certainly the most popular, and if you're looking for a spring break type atmosphere with bass pumping music and bikini-clad girls dancing on the stage for a bucket of beer, then Mango Deck is your spot. During the busy season, this is an all-day party scene. Finally, the biggest party options with the loudest music and drunkest people are in town. Just 4 of many choices are, of course, the granddaddy of them all is Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo. This place is famed for consistently providing customers a good time over the decades. They play rock music with an attitude and have a big dance floor. The Giggling Marlin is another popular place where they'll hang you upside down and make you drink a shot. Some say El Squid Row is the best bar in town. Judge for yourself. It's loud, obnoxious, and very touristy, but this bar has multiple levels, plays a variety of music, and you can dance on the tables. Finally, La Laquita is another loud disco bar on the main road. It's also quite popular, and it's a good place to see and be seen, as they say. Okay, with all the top things to see and do, dining and party spots covered, we now come to the end of our ultimate guide to Los Cabos. We hope you enjoyed. Did we miss any of your favorites, or do you have a secret tip you'd like to share with others? Well then please let us know in the comments section below, and please consider subscribing to our channel for more fun, informative travel videos, just like this one.